Today Sunday, September 7th, 2025. This is my voice. Like 1 month on testosterone. I hope it doesn't sound deep. It just sound nasally because I'm sick. Here's your pencil, by the way. I think I'm sticking to uploading a video every 2 weeks because once a week barely anything happens, and then 2 weeks go by and I'm like, oh yeah, cool, I have something to talk about. So I'm not going to remember where I left off on my last video. So Monday, 2 weeks ago, I had a interview for a scholarship, and I think Friday I found out that I was rejected. They're like, "Oh, sorry, we only have a limited spots available, and you were rejected," something like that. And like during initially, I was kind of like upset about it because what if this is the only one? And no, there's multiple ones, and because of that, I'm like, oh yeah, cool. I have other options. I'm not tied to this specific one. And being tied to that one scholarship, it was like early decision, and I'm not that committed. I'm like, no, that doesn't seem like the college I want to go to. So, yeah. So like, if a school chose me, I was automatically in or enrolled into the school, and that's a little too hasty. I just gotta slow down the roll. And it was only tuition. So, I want the full ride. I want people to see my excellence in school. I am a rank 3 top scholar. I did mention, I mentioned that the school has been going really slow, really boring. I mentioned the English teacher. Maybe I mentioned that she only allowed one bathroom pass a quarter. Well, she changed it to 10 now. 10 bathroom passes a year. Initially, I was like, man, this bitch, what the fuck is she doing? But after like it's been a week or a month since school starting, it's like, oh yeah, she's not that bad actually. I do understand where she's coming from. She mentioned, I think the last week, that she wants all of us to retake the ACT, and I didn't retake it. I'm like, oh, I don't mind that. I'll retake it. And she did mention that she's pushing us because the school I go to, people like undermined like the location I'm at. Like, oh, well, you're from this side of this city. You're like far intellectually disadvantaged. Something like that. And like, no, she wants to push us. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. I was right. I'm a month in on T. Nothing. I don't know if I've ever noticed this before, but like, I'm getting more body hair. And maybe if I initially had it, but I never given it much thought until now. So that's something. I know people get horny on testosterone. I feel like I mentioned that on the last video I uploaded. Yeah. What else can I say? Bottom growth, that's something I've been getting. I haven't noticed it, but it's like, that feels interesting. Something's interesting going on down there. When I initially was thinking of going on testosterone, bottom growth was something I did not want because of, like, personal sexual reasons. It's like, oh, I'm not really comfortable with this. And if I get, like, horny on testosterone, that's something I'm not comfortable with. But now it's just like, whatever. It's something that happens, and I'll let it happen. Also on testosterone, I get really hungry. Probably because my body wants to convert, like, muscle mass or something. The food I eat into muscle mass. It's like, you eat, get muscles. So, and then I just start like eating processed garbage, and that's not, as I've possibly mentioned in other videos, like, oh, I have an eating disorder, and for the past like 2 months, I've been like on and off or like debating on whether to quote start it again because I get like backhanded comments from my mom. She's like, "Oh, well, you should stop eating a lot. You're gaining weight," and she like pokes at my stomach fat. And she's like, "Oh, well, you stop eating so much." Yesterday, I was at a party, and then I came to to the snacks to get some chips, and she's like, "Oh, well, you always keep coming back down here to eat." And I did not want to eat those chips anymore. I gave it to my sister, and I'm not gonna say like it was ruined. My day was ruined because I was having a pretty shitty day to begin with. But that's not a very nice thing to say to your child. I'm pretty sure if that was me last year, if she kept saying those stuff to me, I probably like would be serious about like the an eating disorder. But now I'm not that like stuck up on it. I'm like, oh, I'm so fat. I should start not eating and throwing up my food. But I'm weak-willed and impulsive, and anytime I get hungry, I'm like, oh yeah, I have to eat something. And back then, it was like easier to just stay hungry. I don't know why, but now I like again weak-willed and impulsive. I finding it so hard just to stay hungry. So I end up giving in and eating food, and that sucks. So when I skip a meal, it's like, oh no, mom, I won't eat the tacos for today. I'm not that hungry right now. I'll eat later. I'll eat dinner. I'll skip lunch. And then when I do have to eventually wait for dinner, it's like, oh, well, let me indulge in a snack while I wait. I don't pick the yummy, healthy option like an orange or an apple or a carrot or something. I'm like, oh, let me dig into the pantry, eat a cookie or something. No, again, weak-willed, impulsive. I don't know why I do that. I don't know why it's so hard for me to like be healthy and stay on track. I'm like, oh yeah, let me start a diet. Let me start a calorie deficit thing. No, I don't know why. I find it hard to do that. Like, no matter how much I complain and cry about how the way I look or anything about myself, I don't have the will, the capacity. I don't give two shits enough to change something about myself. Why? I don't know why. I just don't. It's either that I really do not care, or, I'm truly lazy. Boo-hoo. And the segue on the laziness is just reminding me. Now that school's starting, I've like a self-diagnosed with ADHD. And boo, it's a bad thing. Well, I know it's a bad thing, so I don't like bringing it up to people. It's like, oh, I think I might have ADHD. And they're gonna boo and yell at me with tomatoes. Boo! You're offending people who actually have it. Boo! Faker! Boo! So that's something I don't mention to people. It's like, oh no, I think I have this. And then I'm scared of the possibility where it's like, nope, you just have to try harder. Woohoo! You get off the internet. Yeah, that does help, but when I actually do get off the internet and lock in, it works only for like an hour or so, and then I'd like get distracted with everything around me. Go to the library. Yes. But eventually that dies down, and I get like, let's say I'm doing an assignment, right? I'll do one assignment where I have to create a mock newspaper cover about myself. Okay, cool. Yay, I'm doing the assignment. And then I'm looking up funny pictures to put on the newspaper. Oh, what's that? I see at the corner of the images a little picture of something I'm interested in. Oh, let's ignore the assignment and look at other images of the same picture. Oh no, look. I'm onto YouTube because I've been reminded of a funny video of the same character. And then I eventually open like 50 tabs. And that do not correlate to one another. And boom, I forgot all about the assignment, and it's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, oh yeah, what a productive day. And I leave that assignment sitting there, overdue. And, I fail. And I fail. And then because I fail, my grades drop. And because my grades drop, I see no purpose in life. Because I am only a failure to my peers and my family and the people I love. Oh no. Womp. I think I'm doing it right now as I speak. I segue into something else. So yeah, maybe that's something worth mentioning with my therapist. I think I have ADHD, but I do not remember to bring it up. It's like, oh hi, yeah, and then I talk about something entirely different with my therapist, and then like weeks later, I'm like, oh yeah, I should mention it again, and the recycle repeats over and over again. So, oh yeah, right. The reason I initially mentioned it is because it's getting harder to just sit down and lock in and do my work. I could be the perfect environment could literally just happen. Like, oh yes, it's the perfect work environment. No distractions. The room is quiet. It's like right there, but I don't do it. I had to write an essay for about my own culture, and I had all the words in my head, but they could not. I could not, like, I had every idea in my head, but the words, I couldn't come up with the words I wanted to say, and there was like a severe disconnect with me and the keyboard and the words on the screen. I knew what I wanted to say, but nothing, I drew a blank. And that sucks so much because I ended up having to half-ass my essay. It was supposed to be 2 pages long. I did a page and a half. And, that sucked so much because that was something I wanted to do. I'm really passionate about my culture and where I come from. But I really just couldn't do it. Was it because I was lazy? Probably. Was it because I have poor time management? Absolutely. But, it's something I wanted to do. And speaking of things I get passionate about, I've mentioned this again. Woohoo! That I really like crocheting. I really like playing the guitar. I have like hobbies. I have a life. And the hobbies that I do want to do. It's like, oh yes, I really do want to start a crochet project. I really want to learn more guitar. But I end up not doing it. I'm doom scrolling on TikTok or YouTube, and my equipment is just sitting there collecting dust, and that makes me so sad because this is something I want to do. I want to get better at, but I'm like stuck here, like holding the objects in my hand. I don't want to do this anymore. Let me just skip aside. I owed a friend a birthday present for crochet, and it's still sitting undone. Why? I wish I knew. I think I had a lot more to say than I initially thought I would. To end it off on another depressing note. I've been thinking about, just ending it all. But not for real. No, not for real. When the days when the dysphoria just so happens to crumble onto me in rain and strike me with, I'd start pondering like, is this really worth living this life? Even though I am on testosterone and that like the effects, like the physical appearance and the voice later down on the line will like alleviate, the stuff I feel right now. I do want it to be immediate. But as people say, puberty doesn't happen overnight. It takes years. And, yeah, they're right. But, I always get stubborn. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be short forever. Boo-hoo-hoo. And that does still bother me right now. Yesterday I was like, weeping about it. Wah. But, maybe I forgot about it right now. but maybe later I'll remember it about it again. Crash out again. That's something in my head. I forgot. Oh, yes, right. Another thing. I really want to get high. You know? It correlates with, like, my earlier, like, depressive symptoms. Have a sentiment that I, like, I'm going to become a junkie or whatever. I wrote, I wrote down that, like, am I really a loser for wanting to get high? And people may argue yes, because, I have my friends. They're like, oh, well, if I like jokingly say like, oh yeah, let me take an edible, let me smoke some za, and then I have another friend who does that same thing. They're like, oh yeah, I took an edible, I'm getting drunk, and pop in and say like, oh yeah, invite me next time, and then like my morally compassed friends, they start like slandering me, or rightfully so. Like, oh yeah, why would you want to get high? You never become addicted. You're an alcoholic. Oh, no, 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 no. So that's, as a kid, I was always like making fun of people who do that. Like, oh, you're such a loser if you get drunk in high school. Wait, 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 wait. But now I am that loser who is getting drunk. But not in high school. At home, alone, because I'm sad. So, I. Over here, I say, I'm catching the signs of a possible drug addiction for worst case scenario. For me, at first, it was like self harm. Like I get a rush out of that. But when the rush stopped, I started drinking and to just be silly, catch the little you know focus my attention on something else other than like the sadness I'm feeling. Boo hoo. But drinking doesn't do it for me anymore. It doesn't fill like the little void I have in my itty bitty black heart. So because I don't feel the same way I did when I first started. I do like, oh, I really want to get high. Like, let me just like smoke a weed or take an edible. But then what happens after the weed stops working? What happens then? What other narcotics will I try? Well, not narcotics, but what other paraphernalia will I try? Like, what, heroin, fentanyl, oxycodone. I do not know. I personally do not know anybody who sells any of that stuff, but I could just talk to somebody in my vicinity, like, hey, do you know somebody who does this? And they could be like, oh yeah, this so and so, and I could contact them. So I could technically do it, but I'm not, because I'm like so fearful. It's like, oh no, what if I actually get addicted to this substance? So stay tuned to the next video to find out if I get addicted on other paraphernalia. I think this went on for a long time. I was on a rambling session. Okay, goodbye.